a part of Brahma Kumari's organization as a friend and also as a student for the past 30 plus, 40 plus years. And you are also a professor in your physical field, in a Logic field, in the Department of International Environment and Development Studies in Norwegian University of Life Sciences. And you've been doing research work and also teaching and supervising in international collaboration in field of research. And Bhaiji, you have been with a lot of experiences from various international countries like Europe, European countries, South Asian countries, African and United States. And through interdisciplinary research projects and through institutional collaboration, you have been doing research and educational programs with different countries and different government organizations too. And you have developed educational programs and course curricula and created several educational documentary films too. We would love to know more about it from you as we progress ahead in this beautiful program which we have. And you have been in various public engagements also and social work, and as the president and co-chair of social charity organization NRNA and IAHEV, with extensive delivery of public talks which we have seen we have been giving on social media and also on media platforms. So thank you for joining us, Bhaiji. And thank you for being a part of this beautiful journey with Brahma Kumaris and for accepting this invitation from Brahma Kumaris Darjeeling. Thank you so much. On behalf of Brahma Kumari Sister Mona Didi and the Brahma Kumari Center, I welcome you. Thank you. And you have shown a very beautiful, keen interest in talking about transformative thinking in wisdom traditions relevant for peace and international relations. So, Professor Sitaula ji, what exactly do we understand by wisdom traditions? And yes, peace is a very simple word, but everybody is searching for it. Everybody's looking for it. And especially in international relations, in terms of what we are experiencing in the present scenario in the world, present time. What are your views about it? Kindly take us ahead in this beautiful journey. Over to you, Professor Sir.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Almighty Allah, who is most gracious and most merciful, let Him protect us from all this disorienting dilemma. This world is facing multiple crises. O Father, O Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit, please protect us also from this disorienting dilemma which is happening around the world. And then, Bhakratunde Mahakaya Koti Surya Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakarya Susarvada. Dear student of Conflict, Peace and Development Studies program, always when we start our journey to personal transformation, we start in a ceremonial way. And since I am in Norway, far away from you, and generously, Brahma Kumari World Spiritual University, we have organized this public talk, is a part of your course. And I'm very delighted, and I express my both honor and also gratitude to Brahma Kumari for giving me this opportunity to talk about what is the wisdom tradition and what kind of element we are talking around wisdom tradition, which is relevant today in the international relation and also peace. We talk about peace, peace, peace. But how this different wisdom tradition, spiritual philosophy, as a means of our own individual inner transformation and collective transformation can contribute, that I'm going to talk about it. And having said that, I would like to share my screen, if you permit me, and we go from there.
Please go ahead, Professor Baiji. Thank you.
So today, dear student, esteemed colleague, I understand that very many learned people, scholars, and many other who are very experienced in very many wisdom traditions are also part of our audience today, since it is a public talk. So I'll be talking about transformative thinking in various wisdom traditions relevant for peace and international relations. So this wisdom tradition is, scholarly speaking, is a body of knowledge and practice that has been developed over centuries, even millennia, by various cultures, societies, and civilization in the world. And these wisdom tradition typically aim to individual transformation in individual and society, and also live in a more fulfilling life, and also achieve the spiritual growth, the transcendence, and get inside into the nature of reality. And of course, wisdom tradition can be found in very many different religions. Today, because of time, I'm just going to cover three important wisdom tradition, the traditions, that is our Sanatan, or they call it Hindu, also Buddhist, in fact, four, and some Taoism, and Christianity, and also Islam. But remember that wisdom traditions are also available, and very many indigenous tradition and indigenous belief system around the world. And therefore, I have also added in this presentation today the auto-ethnographical reflection, my onto-epistemological storytelling. That means how I have acquired knowledge around and about wisdom traditions that has relevant for the international peace and also international relation today. And remember that myself being a professor of international environment and development studies, this is my reflection, my lived reflection. There can be other opinion, other theory, other kind of thinking, other kind of conception, other kind of cosmovision, thoughts, insight, and so on. In this journey, let me take to, I am sitting now in Norway. Norway has given quite a lot about understanding of peace, also how to transform conflict into peace. Here it is Professor Johan Galtung, who is retired now in his 90s, but I have communication and contact with him around and about peace, because I have had the honor to establish a Department of Conflict, Peace and Development Studies program in Nepal, Sri Lanka, and Pakistan. And today we have the students from particularly from Nepal as a part of their course today. And Johan Galtung used to tell me that, look, from the civilization perspective, from the spiritual tradition perspective, we first need to focus on some of the bright side of these wisdom traditions, and also his perspective on globalizing God. The book, the book that he has written, Globalizing God, that also we use in our curricula, that emphasize the importance of respecting and valuing diversity in religions and spiritual belief and practices also, and finding a way to build bridge between them that are based on shared value and principle, focusing on some of the bright side. And according to Johan Galtung, he is called the father of peace research in the world, really, Professor Johan Galtung. he used to say that how we should focus on the bright side. For example, if you look at the Judaism tradition, that tradition, that wisdom tradition offer a lot of scope for the dialogue. It allows so many dialogical elements in his wisdom tradition. It is not a monologue. And if you look at the Orthodox Christianity, according to Galtung, he said that the bright side there is long-term optimism. And there are so many optimistic note here and there. And hope and optimism should be there, only not analyzing the mechanism of problem, problematizing thing, but hope and optimism. And he also mentioned that the Catholic Christianity, they have a little more emphasis on the forgiveness intervention. I think all these idea about very many world leaders also practicing forgiveness, like Pope and also Nelson Mandela and many other comes from here. The Christian belief about forgiveness, because Jesus Christ himself is the example of forgiveness. Even he was in the cross oozing the blood. He was telling, oh, Father, please forgive these people because they don't know what they are doing. And like that, also Islam will talk about it. They also gives a lot of Quranic verses on deep togetherness and sharing, according to Johann Galtung. And in Buddhism, he talks that, oh, networking, the dependent origination, the relationalism is the nobility of Buddhism. And also, when it comes to Confucius, well, there is a very many element of feudalism that we should respect the rulers, because he has got or she has got the mandate of heaven, and also respect the elder in the family, but they should be right on the top, and one should be also right in the bottom. And here also, when he talks about the Taoism, the Tao, the focus is on holism, the whole, understanding how the opposites are complementary. They are not a kind of problematic things to look at. So this is what about my interaction with Professor Johann Galtung, and I pay very big respect to him. From here in his 90s, he's giving around his public talk and so on. And my take on this is that building the bridges between religions based on shared value and principle is crucial. This is very crucial for promoting mutual understanding, and I'll bring so many examples of that one. It is not only understanding, respecting the dignity of each other and peaceful coexistence. And therefore, interfaith understanding, focusing on common values, is very, very important, also promoting peace, encouraging collaboration, and so on. But religion, because of dogmatic dependence and also because of this, what you call routinism, just following the karma kanda, the routines and so on, has created a lot of problem in this world. So this is my viewpoint, is that if you want to find the common essence of humanity, which is relevant for peace today, and what we talk about the international relation, we need to bring the element of meta-awareness and also perennial philosophy that can be valuable tool to build the bridge between these different religions, promoting mutual understanding, respect, and also fostering peaceful coexistence. From this meta-awareness is also a very important kind of skills for 21st century in very many different arena. In education psychology, we teach quite a lot about how to cultivate meta-awareness. And this meta-awareness refers to the ability to reflect on thought processes and emotions. This very many mystical tradition go inside deep in their paramit chitta, and also try to see what is there, and then try to understand the way in which these processes are influenced by different externalities, both positive and negative externalities. In the context of international relation, meta-awareness can be applied to the way individual and group perceive and interact with each other's religion, culture, countries, and global system. Meta-awareness can be a valuable tool for promoting more effective and ethical international relations by helping individuals and groups to navigate complex, diverse global systems with greater awareness and sensitivity. And those people who has already developed some kind of greater sensitivity, those who have established a rishi-like kind of chitta, the understanding, the consciousness. For them, whole humanity is one single unbroken continuum. They do not see the borders between the nation. That is a human construct, a kind of tribal construct of tribalism to begin with. Do you see the border in this world? It's no border. There is one single continuum. This biosphere is communicating instantaneously with the iodosphere, and iodosphere is continuously communicating with the atmosphere and so on. Therefore, this deeper spirituality, not organized religion, but the transcendental spirituality can be a powerful tool for cultivating meta-awareness that can transcend nationality and also may promote more inclusive and compassionate approach to global issue by emphasizing unity and diversity. And therefore, Krishnamurti is to say that nationalism is tribalism. Another more popular in the scientific arena and also in the philosophy is called perennial philosophy. In perennial philosophy, this is really popularized in 20th centuries by a British writer, Aldous Huxley, who has also written, the New World Order and many other things. Many other books. He has also given so many commentary on Bhagavad Gita and many things. But this perennial philosophy, which is a term that was popularized by this British writer who ended up in the United States, and he is also one of my person, although he has been criticized by other scholars, but still his idea about perennial philosophy is very meaningful to me, because this idea, there is a core set of universal spiritual truths that can be found in teaching of all major religion and spiritual tradition. And how he found that one is that, look, in the book of religion, you can find a lot of differences, and when it's translated into cultural mythology, then there are so many fights, so many kind of disorienting dilemma there. But those mystical people who have really done a very good sadhana, and when the deep goes inside them, and then their expression, they find that, oh, we are the part of same continuum. Look at, I'll give you some example from my interaction with the very many different scholars from very many wisdom tradition. Let's begin with the Islam. There is a concept of Tawheed of Allah. This concept of Tawheed in Islam culture refers to the oneness and unity of Allah in everything. And it is a fundamental tenet of the Islamic faith. We know that one. Also, there is Al-Muhid, that I come back to it. But the concept of Tawheed, this Brahman consciousness, the one, there is no other than Brahman, is that encourages to recognize the unity and interconnectedness of all things and to see the world through holistic lens, the holistic seeing. This can lead to the heightened sense of awareness and also mindfulness mindfulness is not only what Buddhist has promoted it. Okay, and also this with wisdom strive to see beyond surface, beyond your skin color, your texture, your nationality, and very many other surface level differences, and also look at that underlying unity of all things, of Tawheed, of Allah, peace be upon him. There is also something called al-muhit in the Islam. Al-muhit is an important principle in Islam that emphasizes the importance of inclusivity and respect for all diversity. Not to commit any kind of this jihad is very misinterpreted by so many Western medias and Eastern, even very many people who have poorly understood the Islam really. The al-muhit here, it means that the jihad means the conscious effort, the conscious struggle, for the betterment for the society. And the Muslim is that one who acquired the peace by submitting his or her will to the will of Allah. And here the al-muhit means all the encompassing or all encompassing, and it is often used to describe the vastness and universality of Allah's presence and also mercy. And since I am also a student of comparative religion and comparative philosophy, I look at from Buddha, who was born in Nepal, but he got enlightenment and he became global everywhere. Tathagat Garva, the concept of Tathagat Garva. Well, the Tathagat Garva means the Buddha nature that everybody, all of us are potentially Buddha. That is there. The Buddha nature, the womb of Buddha or Buddha embryo, it refers to potential for enlightenment that exists within all sentient beings, including human, is seen as a positive and empowering concept there, emphasizing the inherent goodness and potential for enlightenment within all beings. It is not only Buddhists who get enlightenment, but Islam, the Buddha, Hindu, the Jews, and so on. It suggests that every being has a capacity to become Buddha or enlightened being. That common essence, that Tathagat Garva is, that Atvaid is there in all of us. Okay. Of course, this is where it comes, the Buddhist concept of non-duality and also interconnectedness that can provide a useful perspective for understanding the global politics and also economic system. Okay. And therefore, this is also another thing that I wanted to bring your focus. Look at the semantics. Here in the Gospel of John, chapter 10, verse 30, he said that I and my Father are one. What he's really referring to really, the idea of unity in diversity, which can be related to concept I and my Father are one in Christianity. And that can provide a useful perspective emphasizing the importance of recognizing, valuing differences while all recognizing the underlying unity that connects all of us. And therefore, for the learned people, there is no problem really. Even in the Taoism, you see that opposites are complementary. The concept of holism and also yin-yang represents the interdependent unity, balance of complementarity of opposite in the universe. They exist simultaneously. The day and night are not opposite, but they are complementary. Male and female are not opposite, but they are complementary. Okay. And therefore, this is also very, very important. And in the Taoism, this holism refers to the idea that everything in the universe is interconnected and interdependent, that each individual part cannot be understood in isolation from the whole. The holistic perspective is reflected in the Taoism, a concept of Tao, which is thought of underlying unity. and interconnected of all being. And myself, born and brought in a Hindu family, but have been working in international environment and development studies for the last 35 years and visited very many countries. And when I hear all these things, it is also semantics with something called, in the literature, they call it Hinduism, but in fact, it is a Sanatan Dharma. This, the Ardhanarishwar, the representation, the idea that the essence is the same, but the representation, the metaphor can be different. In the metaphor here, the existence is this unbroken continuity of Shiva and Shakti, the energy and consciousness, and like that. And the similar thing, if you look at in the Tantric Vajrayana type, this Pragya and Upaya, the combination of that gives you the ultimate bliss or unity of enlightenment. And same when you are talking about yin and yang in Confucius and Taoism, particularly in the Tao type of thinking. And then in the Sanatana Dharma, it's also called the Jivo Brahmaiva Napara. This is the Vedanta philosophy. This Vedanta philosophy cannot be understood by simple, the low kind of analysis. It requires a deep prior knowledge. Therefore, in the Sanatana Dharma or Hindu philosophy, they call it the highest knowledge. This term Jiva refers to individual soul or the self, and the Brahma refers to the ultimate reality, often described as a divine or cosmic consciousness, that is Brahma. And the statement says that the Jiva and Brahma is no different. This ultimate, what is unit, that is cosmic, and therefore this one single reality, and therefore this underlying essence of everything is Brahma. Sarvam yetat Brahma, et Vedanta dimdima. Okay, and therefore this individual self is not separate from the ultimate reality, but an expression and manifestation of it. So in perennial philosophy, they bring all these different kind of essence, and they try to bring this universal knowledge and also a hope and optimism for expansive awareness that we all are one. The wisdom that we all are one can be useful perspective in both international relation and also environmentalism, because forget about these treaties between countries, this and that war going on. The biggest thing for me is that the climate change, that the climate crisis, which is real, and that will bring more and more surprising kind of challenges to this world, because we lost that oneness, we lost that compassion. Even animal seems to be more compassionate and less selfish than the human being. Only for their basic survival, they may kill each other, but other time they really love each other. Okay. So this is what we need to know. I teach quite a lot about different kind of, we are losing the relationship with the earth, and this climate change is not only a technical problem that I teach. I am basically a hardcore natural scientist by training, but we are losing that relationship with earth and everything else, the relationship of unity in diversity, and creating individual and shared suffering, this wounded world. So all religious tradition, including all Buddhism, all religion, that I've been talking about, we need to come together. We need this understanding of common humanity. We are losing relationship of unity in diversity and creating individual, and therefore we are creating this shared suffering. And in all international conferences of interfaith dialogue, everything I hear all the time, but I do not see the action in ground. And even this kind of idea has not been permeated sufficiently in the literature of international relations, really. So the growing body of research and theory that suggests that individual to international problems are deeply rooted in human mind. Look at the work by Christine Wamsler from Sweden, how this mind and climate interaction, how this climate change is a result of human mind. Look at the Donald Trump, a biggest leader in this world, saying that, oh, there's no climate change. This is just America first. We continue to emit the greenhouse gases and maintain our economy and so on. Human mind. And it's also shaped by various psychological, social, and philosophical factors that has also been somehow numbing. However, we lack this mechanism, specific one-to-one linear cause-to-cause relationship that we scientists look for, and that is still growing there. And therefore, all these different problems that we teach today, climate change, the colonization of human culture, loss of language, every one language is lost every 3 weeks, and all this conflict, war, this is all there. And it is, if you look at the deep inside us, it is because it's a result of what is inside the human mind, what they call bad nafs in Islam, the bad nafs, which clouds your ruha, and it doesn't allow you see the reality, bigger reality as it is because of the activity of bad types of nafs. And according to Islamic philosophy, the nafs is the unrefined state, that is your ego, the bad ego, which they consider to be the lowest dimension of a person's inward existence and his wild and satanic nature. And therefore, in Islam, we need to do something called jihad. Jihad is not, again, a bad word. This is not at all. It is a misinterpreted. It's jihad, the greater struggle for success against your own nafs or your mental defilement, the jihad akbar, which we need to do that. In Christianity, we also need to look at from the perspective of the root cause of problem is not a technical, it is deep in the human mind. All these 7 deadly or cardinal sin, what they call in Christianity, they were, of course, described as individual, the moral failings in Christianity, but this is the same semantics that you can see in the other kind of religion. Even the 3rd temptation of Christ, where the lust for the body, lust of the mind, and pride of the life, when the Satan wanted to really deceive the Jesus Christ, after he was performing his sadhana, 40 days of fasting, and the Satan comes and say, oh, eat this food, you are the great. And then if you eat my food, you'll be like the God. And he said that, no, what I shall do if I just fill my stomach and lose my connection to that almighty divine. 3 temptation of Christ. He has to also fight against it, and we also need to fight against our own defilement and so on. The 3 root poison, according to Buddhism, the greed, hatred, and delusion in global crisis, and individuals and organizations can work toward. If you recognize that we have all this greed, the mula dosa, the hatred, and the delusion, which throw you to the wheel of samsara all the times, the wandering, endless wandering in samsara. And therefore, we need to recognize that this is also, problem is also in us, okay? Because the root cause of problem is not out there. And according to Taoism, the root cause of crisis can be traced back to fundamental lack of balance and harmony. The balance, okay, that both within individual, we are not able to unite this yin and yang principle. And therefore, in all the Chinese medicine also, And this principle has been also used, can be used in a larger scale. It's the same thing which is happening, what happens to human and natural world. And in the Hinduism, the enemy within the Satripu, according to Brahma Kumari, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar, all these kind of Satripu that comes from Hinduism, these are enemy which are inside us. The Satripu, it can be relevant in, if you take care of all this enemy within, we are able to promote the global peace in this world. But as long as those are there inside, outside with very nice dress, with kind of very nice kind of international negotiation, all this kind of meeting protocol, dress protocol, will not be of any help, because the root cause of problem is here, really. And in Bhagavad Gita, and again, I'm talking a little more about it, one of the most revered texts in Hinduism discusses the concept of lust, anger, and greed, and their negative effects on individual and society. And therefore, this Bhagavad Gita is also very much relevant. It is a book of answer, really, because until and unless we analyze the problem at their core level, in the beginning, all the discourse between Arjun and the Lord Krishna is samasya darshan, the problem analysis. Okay, like that, we need to look at the source of the problem, not in the mechanism of the problem. And in the war, between the two, this audience, I don't need to explain it. This Mahabharata war is a significant event in Hinduism and is often seen as a metaphor of battle between good and evil. And the war is also known is philosophical and moral teaching, including the Bhagavad Gita. There is also out from this war and all different actors like Vidur, like Bhishma, also has given so many different kind of insights, which is relevant for peace building, and also for how to in terms of this international relation that time. And this is also used as a metaphor. But we should not fear. We should do our karma. All these, whatever this ego, this defilement, this so many things, really this darkness is simply absence of light that is not real and never was. Darkness was never there. It was only absence of light that was there. So in this teaching, I will not go through it to this audience again, because here you see that few example of teaching of Lord Krishna to Arjun. These are directly taken from the Gita. And for example, universal brotherhood, the conflict resolution. In Lord Krishna says that he who is equiposed or maintain his balance and remain happy and remain blissful and remain not shattered by this hedonic happiness and distress, and is steady, can maintain the balance in life, who knows the art of living and art of life, can certainly be eligible for liberation. He can be peaceful and also can cultivate the peace and so on. So Lord Krishna teaching in Mahabharata offers valuable insight and guidance for individual and states in dealing with complex issue and Indians are really promoting this one in different forum. I have looked at very many TED talks around it. He talks that duty and responsibility is very important for all. Also non-attachment, like that America interests first. We have a very big history of Russia, therefore it is legitimate to attack and kill all the time innocent civilian. That kind of attachment is really a problem of the world today. Therefore, self-control is also very important for world leader, diplomats, and of course, very important for we individual. We have to face the consequences of that. Okay. And also in Mahabharata, there are several relevant messages for international relation. For example, one of my favorite one is that the Bidur Niti. Bidur was the most wise person, one of the person in Mahabharata that you know. And you can read the book Bidur Niti. And when you look at this great thinker, they call it a mythical figure for British, for kind of science. Whatever happened, backward from 7th century is just a myth. 7th century before Christ, 700 years before Jesus, and then further before that is all myth, and for them it is a myth. All these things, but still they exist in the tradition, and Mahabharata is not a myth, Ramayana is not a myth. Some signs are coming when they are discovering the cities buried below the sea, also the bridge between the Sri Lanka and India, and all those kind of things. And the Bidur says that a ruler who is partial to one side and neglect the other cannot maintain peace and stability in his kingdom. What a very nice quote. He also said that a wise ruler should use the proper diplomacy to resolve conflict, not force. And very many in this war today, they fail to use that kind of. He himself was also a failed example in Mahabharata, but at least he has learned that a wise, that means the ruler in the Mahabharata, like Dhritarashtra, a blind person, was not wise to say. A ruler must act with integrity, honesty, and respect for the law to earn the trust and loyalty of his subject. Look at what is happening to Nepal today. They have lost all that kind of credibility, trust, respect, everything to the leader, because they have not shown their integrity, their honesty, and respect to the law. How to break the law have been a problem all the time. And therefore, you see this ancient wisdom tradition, Mahabharata, that provides so many things. There is a book published on Sukraniti, the says Sukracharya. Again, he is further backward, 7,000 years, some say some 5,000, but they are mythical, and they don't find that kind of record of any traces, archaeological traces. But still, in the Hindu mythology, he do exist, and his teaching is there in Sukraniti, provides also a valuable insight into principle of diplomacy, negotiation, and conflict resolution, and alliances, and also need for trust, which can be relevant for international relations today, and also for the statecraft shift. I think our leaders should learn what Sukracharya was giving today. Our part of the world is very, very rich in wisdom tradition, and these are some of the quotes from Sukracharya. For example, alliance should be based on shared value and common interest, not just on the convenience. Look at that. Negotiation is the art of finding middle ground that is acceptable to all parties. This is what Sukracharya is saying. Again, today in this world, because is facing a lot of global crisis. I live in Norway, very, very rich and prosperous country in the world, also in the Europe, also in the North America. Although economically, they are much better off comparatively, but when it comes to happiness, when it comes to real meaning, purpose of life to be happy, they have not been doing quite good, although that happiness index is based on different empirical data, but individual authentic happiness is different. And today, therefore, in the wisdom that comes from the Sanatan, the yoga tradition, one of the 6 schools of philosophy, yoga, there are people, world leaders are also practicing it. You see the Justin, the Prime Minister of Canada, the other minister in New Zealand, and also the world leader like that time, the General Secretary of United Nations, and June 21st is the World Yoga Day. and that comes from the East. For me, I have learned my wisdom tradition, my native wisdom tradition, that is my Sanatana Dharma. From my teacher, I also pay respect to them. And they say that the Sanatana Dharma gives infinite freedom to people to practice whatever, depending upon their mental color, depending upon the propensities of their mind. They can look at the Karma Yoga, they can look at the Bhakti Yoga, Gyan Yoga, and also, there is a saying also, Shiva Mahimman Sutra, that they say that no matter from where this river is flowing, they all come from Himalaya, but depending upon the terrain, morphology, and geology, it has to take a different route, different kind of bending and making objective adjustment. But finally, they reach into the ocean. And if I summarize this concept from my wisdom tradition, Hinduism, and I also now pay tributes to my other guru, His Holiness Chintamani Yogi, that I had many, many years of collaboration, and we teach together personal transformation course. So in the Bhagavad Gita, they talk about focusing on the truth, righteousness, peace, love, and non-violence. And these are some of these core there. When they talk about righteousness, give freely and control the senses. Don't be greedy really. Be sincere and truthful, talks about truth. Be loving and show goodwill to all in Bhagavad Gita chapter 16. Love, and also don't harm any living creature, and don't slander, that is non-violence. And similarly, the Chinese wisdom tradition, the Confucius, I have a profound regard for him. It was a living tradition for many centuries. And this other kind of rule came to China, but still now they are rediscovering. China is rediscovering when economic power grows, when they become economically very well off, and they are internationally popularizing. You look at the Confucius Institute around the world, more than 6,000 Confucius Institute. And the Confucius gives the wisdom that the strength of a nation derives from the integrity at home. Like in Nepal, when there is so much of lack of integrity in politics and very many other kind of dilemma. I have also seen that one, not only in Nepal, but very many different developing countries. How we can grow? Confucius also says that wherever you go with all your heart, not just a strategic thinking, the diplomatic mind, in diplomacy, this strategic thinking. And the smiling is also a fake diplomatic smile. Confucius said, don't do that. Go with wholehearted. Okay. So this quote speaks about the idea of mindfulness and being fully present in our interaction with social and natural world. It encourages us to approach nature with an open and very attentive mindset and to appreciate and beauty and wonder of the nature world. Confucius also emphasized the importance of responsibility and ethics in our interaction with others and also with the world around us. Okay, even in today's context of climate change, I can translate this that to recognize our responsibility to future generation, that he was very much focusing on. When you ruin your resources, everything because you are using indiscriminately and you have changed climate and the biodiversity, the species extinction rate, our grandchildren will not be able to see the world that we have seen today. All this ice and all the snow from the Mount Everest will be gone from 40 years from now. Also, he said that to become very flexible, the green reed which bend in the wind is stronger than mighty oak which breaks in the storm. So when the wind comes, when disorienting dilemma like the like, this coronavirus, many things comes, things we need to also be flexible and find the art of living and life there. And when I had been to China and also interacted with other people having that kind of wisdom, is also in Confucianism and also in Taoism, emphasize the same thing: truth, righteousness, peace, love, and non-violence in different phraseology, different terminology. So there is only a terminological difference, but not the ontological difference that I have noted also in the Confucianism and also Taoism. Christianity, does Jesus say that open your heart, the kingdom of God is within you. And therefore, faith is also very much important. Hope and optimism is also important. Faith is also important. That then you should ask the divine, then you shall receive, to be peaceful, less greedy, without reducing those temptations, that I was talking about earlier. Ask, and it shall be given to you. Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and it shall be open to you. You have to put a samyak pratna, samyak effort according to Buddhism. And we should also not fear, we should not fear it. We must have a courage. Abhayam sattu samsiddhir in Bhagavad Gita. Fear not, I am with you. You see, 365 times in the gospel there. And Jesus himself is the example of forgiveness, as I have already said, in that place when he was dying, oozing the blood, asking the Lord, oh Lord, oh my Father, please forgive these people. They don't know what they are doing. Look at that one. For a small relationship, this is small marital relationship, people are committing suicide here and there. The partner are not able to forgive each other. Learn something, how you can forgive, how can establish that forgiveness in an international arena when you are not able to establish that idea of forgiveness. So again, Mother Teresa is also, she is very much a Christian. She is also my role model from Christianity. She is to say that you should not judge people. If you judge people, no, you don't have time to love them. She also says that people are often unreasonable and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. And look at the life of Nelson Mandela. He was in the prison for many years. And when he came out, he forgave all and looked for the reconciliation. And that he has utilized his own wisdom tradition, which makes sense to him really. I have been working in the Christian world. Of course, I'm living in Norway for the last 35 years, but also collaborating project in the Western Balkan, all those 6 countries. And then I have a lot of contact with the Christian mystics and all this, their idea, who have done a lot of sadhana and practice. They say the same thing really. This is one of the person from Macedonia, and this is also from Montenegro. And I have been talking with this monk. He was a carpenter before, in his earlier life, in his life. And then I asked him, tell me, what is the key essence of life for him? And he was telling that love. Love even your enemy, because what Buddha says, nahi bairena bairani sambandito kudachanam avairene sambandi es dhammo samantano. By just hatred, you cannot win the heart of other, or you cannot win anything. So that's why in Christian mystics are also at their very experiential level telling that one, forgiveness and accept the people where they are. And I asked, what is the cause of world problem today? The greed, he said, the driven sin, those cardinal sin is the root cause of human suffering. And I also pay high respect to him. And also, he's also a high shirt up after talking many times. Every time I was going, I was looking for these people, And then they are also, when look at the Bible, they are also talking about truth. Bible says that the truth shall make you free. They talk about righteousness because the Bible says, blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. it talks about the peace, because peace be with you and love one on another, that I have already said, and also love your enemies. It's a non-violence. Islam itself means peace, acquiring peace by submitting your and his will to the will of Allah. And this deep togetherness is very important. And we get this kind of international problem, this and that, a natural problem and so on. But Allah, the Surah Baqarah in Quran, Holy Quran says that Allah doesn't burden a soul beyond that it can bear. It is to make you more resilient. Allah is with you. He has not abandoned you. Okay. So also in another Surah Taha, Allah said, fear not, indeed I am with you, both I hear and I see. Whatever is happening, not beyond the things of Allah. And my favorite, the Rumi, they say that, well, certain amount of disorienting dilemma is needed, because the wound is the place where the light enters you. That the Rumi, the Sufis' ways of thinking. And I was very, very honored when I was working in the Western Balkan and also other Southern European countries to meet these Sufi masters and learning about it. And also in Pakistan, in Afghanistan, I have worked many years there and established quite a good, and also our students are learning our personal transformation there. And I also pay respect to him today, because he is Professor Hugh Van Skyhawk. He was a visiting professor in Takshashila, the Institute of Asian Civilization in Quaid-e-Azam University, and he was one of the scholars for me of comparative religion. And people say that, oh, there is a terrorism, this, that. But when you build a trust with the people, these media, these things, yes, we have to listen to them a little bit, but not all the time. I was going to every difficult areas, of course, with the guard and so on, with our coordinator around, beyond the Khyber Pass, also all the way to Kabul from Pakistan by road, because there was foreigners are not allowed to go beyond this point. But I developed the approach, motivation against avoidance motivation, because I knew a little bit of comparative philosophy and comparative religion, that inherently Islam is not that they come and kill you for like that, And these are some of the, of course, because there is a war there is international interest, international arena, they want to sell their weapon, and you see what is happening to the local population. This is the photo from Kabul, Afghanistan. When I was there, the scars of war, the wound, these tanks was there during the Russian time in Afghanistan, which is there, and all very nice places were there. But if you look at, if you understand the knowledge from this learned Imam, then they also found the same thing that I was looking for. I asked him, tell me what it says in Quran about. They say that, yes, speak the truth. That is the Quranic verses. Perform that your promise. Perform what you promise is the righteousness. Keep your heart free from malice toward anyone. That is the understanding of peace there. Okay, this is only one example. Do you love your creator? Love your fellow being first. Do you love your creator? Love your fellow being first. This is also from the saying of Muhammad in Hadith. Okay, withhold your hand from the striking. And in the Buddhism, it's a teaching of suffering and radical interdependence, and non-violent communication has potential to inform and shape international relation in very many positive way. And therefore, this radical interdependence is very much utilized in very many contexts. The Buddhist rationality is a concept that emphasizes the interconnectedness of all being and importance of relationship in our life. This concept can be applied to international relation by highlighting the interconnectedness, the pratitya samupada of nations, and the importance of being positive relationship between them. And also, okay, so there are very many suggestions, in Buddhist there is a lot of training, the meditation training and mindfulness, which comes from one of the eightfold path, Samma Sati, the right mindfulness. And from that, in a secular setting in the West, they have developed mindfulness meditation. And then now with those who practice mindfulness meditation, that will be a very good kind of tools for taking care of our implicit bias, West versus East, black versus white, like that, the intergroup biases and also discrimination. And from Buddhist perspective, also the fundamental, the Buddha Dharma is relevant to politics in the equality and dignity of individual. Like in Buddha, that time, 2,500 years ago, he was including all caste in his Sangha, also the women at that time. Okay, and therefore, everything we should also look at from the Buddhist perspective, the importance of impermanence. The American world order will not stay permanently according to Buddha Dharma, and that is becoming true now. There is a book there on end of American world power. And I also pay respect to His Holiness Bhante, Professor Dhammajyoti Biligere from Runa University. I also collaborated several years in Runa when we were teaching the personal transformation course together. And therefore, he believes that there will be a rise of soft power, which is knowledge, which is the knowledge of interconnectedness. And again, in Buddha Dharma Dhammapada, chapter 26, the idea about truth. Who has truth and love for all life? This Brahmin is not a caste. He is that kind of learned person who have discovered the truth. And he loves a compassion for all life. And also righteousness in Dhammapada says that who is, who never asks what life can give, but only what he can give to life. That is what is righteousness. And also about peace and love and non-violence. And I also pay respect to down here, Mahathero Aryadeva, who is also a professor who is retired now. And I have a lot of interaction, and we used to teach together, both in Nepal and partly in teaching, also sometime in Bhutan, personal transformation. His Holiness Lungtan Gasto, who is also a pro-chancellor of Bhutan University today. So all in all, when I made all this journey and discovery and so on, all they are focusing on truth, righteousness, peace, love, and non-violence. And today I was talking about also the title say about the peace, which is there. Already I have said about in Buddhism, in Christianity, and Hinduism, and Islam, and Judaism, and Taoism. This is where the perennial philosophy comes about non-violence also. And therefore, we need to globalize this wisdom and this inter-religious harmony in terms, and also from very many different wisdom traditions, not only from the religion per se, indigenous people and so on. Look at His Holiness the Dalai Lama, how nice and humorous. Wherever he goes, he is so harmonious and joyful. Everybody likes and loves him, but he belongs to different religion. Look at that. Religion is not a problem when you understand the essence of that one, You see, everywhere he's just doing that one. And I learned from him a little bit. We need to make a little bit humor. And also I was first trying in a soft way to the Hindu saint little bit. And I also see that, he was also able to, he was so compassionate and established that memory of wholeness, the unity in diversity. I also developed that love and compassion, and also very good working relation before he allowed me to touch his beard and take photograph this way. But His Holiness is far, ahead of me. Even he makes happy Islamic, using burqa in his head. So more you are motivated by love, more fearless and free your action will be. So, dear student, you may be diplomat, you may be working in international peace and so on. learn little bit from lived people. And also these spiritual people need to really collaborate with the scientists like us in order to make it little bit, increase the utility value of that wisdom tradition, like His Holiness Dalai Lama was collaborating with Richard Davidson and many, many other neuroscientists, and they are finding that, and then he's convinced that what we need today, what we need today are universal value based on not only on faith, but also scientific finding, common experience, and common sense. And therefore, dear student, don't only focus on your course curricula, but also focus on this perennial philosophy, our basic innate goodness, that inherent in unity that we have, and use very wisely, in your work. I myself is possible for every whoever what you are studying today. I took 1 year my sabbatical in Naropa University in the United States. And then I learned Sufism there, I learned Islam there, I learned Tantra there, different courses. And you see that every day the class was like a celebration. And then I was a visiting professor, she's another professor, these are our students. And even exam there is a celebration, not as a stress factor. And with that idea, some glimpses and all this other kind of science that we have from the different wisdom tradition also, and the neuroscience, the effect of yoga, effect of different kind of meditation and so on. We have created course on human value and personal transformation, and we have been giving that one in Kathmandu University, Tribhuvan University, and Runa University. And both spiritual master and scholars, and all, you see how students are very happy. And even in Bhutan, students were so happy. And for that, this university, the Norwegian University of Life Sciences, which gave me opportunity to collaborate internationally and also tell this story, we have created a new department of Conflict, Peace, and Development Study in Nepal, started in 2006, and this has been inaugurated a few years ago. I would like to really thank Tribhuvan University and Kathmandu University, Runa University, Royal University of Bhutan, Kamsat University, and many more. And I should also remember to give my thanks to my friend Stig Jarle Hansen from Norway, who is all the time with me and with the team from Kathmandu Tribhuvan University. And most importantly, I would like to thank really the Brahma Kumari World Spiritual University for giving me this opportunity to tell my story about different wisdom tradition. And then now we'll go for any kind of student question answer, or anybody, you all can turn on your video now and we can do some interaction. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Paramjit Bhai. Thank you so much. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you, Professor Bishal Sitaula. Thank you so much for your extensive research, extensive study, extensive research. Thank you so much for your wisdom which you have shared. And you've tried to bring about, through your extensive studies, all the different wisdom traditions together, which we usually term as religion, but you are putting in such a beautiful way wisdom traditions, so that there's unanimity, there is conformity, that there's oneness amongst all of us. And how you have been talking about, more importantly, the mind is having an impact on the weather. And that is something which is very beautifully, which you have caught. And we also understand in spirituality in Brahma Kumaris that man, tan, or prakriti, everything is interrelated. So my mind, my body, and the 5 elements are all interconnected. So beautifully you put. And let's bring upon our beautiful and knowledgeable students of Tribhuvan University of Nepal. So let's have an interaction over here along with Professor Bishal. Please, student, please turn on your, all of you, please turn on your video. So at least we can see, because they have organize it in a very ceremonial way, and you should also thank the organizer here, please. Thank you so
And
much for
all
joining us.
everybody, please.
Yeah, kindly put on your videos so that we can have an interaction over here.
Yeah,
Lovely.
anybody, we can have interaction, and we can have a. You can, I think I have turned on, you can unmute yourself and also ask question. Thank you, Smriti ma'am from Kathmandu University, Professor Dr. Smriti for joining. I can see the recognizing some people here. Oh, Dr. Binod Vata, thank you so much. You are also one of my guru in my life. I can see your face now.
Thank you so much for joining up. Thank you so much. Lovely to see your faces.
So, sir, Dr. Binod Bhatta, sir.
Thank you, Professor Sitaula. It was really a great pleasure and honor to listen to you. And what is needed is probably not one or two or few, but maybe many Bishal Sitaula, the people thinking like you in this globe. The people nowadays, as you have mentioned, of course, there are so much knowledge, spiritual knowledge, full of all those things. It used to be somewhere, now it has spread to the globe. There are so many people who understand all those things probably, but they don't want to listen to this, or they don't want to see to these things. And I think it's like, you can wake up someone who is sleeping, but you cannot wake up someone who is pretending. So many of the big, powerful people of this globe nowadays are pretending to be sleeping. They don't want to wake up. And that is the biggest problem here. Everyone is becoming greedy. Everyone is looking for their own ego. They always think of grabbing more power. And that is where the globe is heading towards the more destruction. Climate change is there. Everybody realizes probably, but they just want to avoid this belief that there is climate change, some of the big powers. There are negotiations, there are COP, and there are all those things, and nobody really wholeheartedly committed to these things. We only prepare plans, we have so much there, but then we're not heartily committed. And this is the problem. I don't know how we can translate this. The whole generation needs to think on this and transform themselves. Probably that will be the only way, because some of the elder generations, they don't want to listen. They're all stubborn, I will say, and that is the problem. Thank you for all what you have said. And probably this should be echoing on all the students. They're our next generation, and probably they can bring more impact on the globe now, rather than just a few from the one place or other. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bhatta. It is really, that is what you have said is all correct. We need hope and optimism. There is a urgency here, so there should be a urgent, inner transformation and also resilience thinking, very many things simultaneously. And I think the new generation will face even more disorienting dilemma. So they have to become even more, they have to be really, they must have this skillful means to balance themselves and also to understand the problem at their source. And I hope that, and that is the way, that is the Tao. Okay, student, can you please all turn on your mobile video if it's possible? And again from the yes, please turn on so that we all see that we have been coming. So, Fabino from Brazil, how are you, sir? You can turn on your, yes.
I'm fine, thank you. And thank you for having me here in this beautiful talk and very useful and rich. And for me, the part you touched on the topic concerning trust was one of the key ones as I could notice from the talk. I think trust as the basis for all the relationships. And trust is also related to the ability we have to demonstrate trust as well. So that part really touched me.
Thank you, Kavino. From a student, anybody? Defense carrier, sir, please, you must be from the security agency, you may say something.
Sir, namaste. Thank you so much, Ajay. Actually, we are running defense. Those who are eagerly want to join defense job, we are preparing for them. It's a preparatory academy located in Papathali. It was a wonderful session, sir. So by profession, I am a naturopath physician. I got to know from BK Karki, sir. So it was a very nice session. And I have invited Fabiano Garcia from Brazil. It was very good session for me and lifetime memorable session. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Smriti Gurung, you have also provided some of your student here. Smriti, if you can.
Okay, I've
What happened?
disabled
Video.
this. I was actually writing a message to you, actually, sir. Namaskar, sir, and thank you. It's always been a pleasure to
You
listen
can
to
turn on your
lectures.
video if you will.
No, because the internet is slow, sir. I don't know if I.
That's
Okay. Thank you, sir. It's always been a pleasure to listen to your lectures. And I'd also like to thank Raj Yoga Self-Healing Meditation to organize this lecture. So I think we should consider ourselves very, very fortunate to hear the lecture for free, actually. Because I think people are paying so much amount of money, people are going from one place to another to listen to such talks. But here, like we have Professor Bishal Sitaula, he's omnipresent, I would say, whenever these kinds of like talks are there, and we can always listen to you for free. And we should always consider ourselves very fortunate. And when I hear this lecture on wisdom tradition, I believe many people tend to think that it's all about religion, but actually it's not so, because we can put this, we can apply the principles of wisdom tradition in our research, in our education, and I think that's what the students should learn, actually. I think that is the take-home message, because since of the lecture that there are so many things, like for an event to occur, when we try to like explain some events, some mechanism, there's not only one factor that is responsible for that particular event, but there are so many events. Could be scientific, could be social, it could be economic, could be political. So whenever we try to conduct our researches also, and whenever we get some findings of the research, so I think we should try to think from different angles or different aspects. I think that's what I got, or that's what I understood from the lectures, actually. So if you really apply this lecture, it's not like you have to be religious, you have to be spiritual, but when it comes to application, I think we have to think from different angles, different aspects, actually, so that we can learn, because it's all about seeking knowledge. And I always say that knowledge can come from different aspects, from sometimes from strange situations, you can gain knowledge. Sometimes from unseen situations, you can gain knowledge. That's the takeaway of this lecture is for me, actually. Thank you, sir. And Raj did the self-healing meditation. If I'm not mistaken, did you say that this lecture, this organization is based in Darjeeling? Did I hear it correctly?
Yes.
Smriti Gurungji, thank you so much for being present in our session. We actually have a session on every Sunday, and Raj Yoga Self-Healing Meditation is a channel which you can also be a part of, because we're having sessions every Sunday with different speakers, and it's being organized by Brahma Kumari's Godly Spiritual University. And a part of the university's college wing is there in Darjeeling. So from Darjeeling itself, we are organizing it. And you're most welcome to visit Darjeeling whenever possible. This is an invitation from all of you. Please come over to Darjeeling and visit us. And we can have a nice session, which may not be connected to religion and spirituality, but we'll talk about all these beautiful values which Professor Bishal sir has shared with us. And Bishal sir, please do come over to Darjeeling whenever possible with all the students from Nepal.
Thank you, sir. I see Professor Ajay Bhattrai also among us. If Professor Ajay Bhattrai is listening to us, you may also want to say something. Yes, Professor Ajay, please unmute.
Hello,
Yes.
I'm very happy with the Professor Bishal Sitaula talk. This is a very scientific talk related with the spirituality, and indeed, such type of work we used to organize in Nepal when we visit Nepal, and people of Nepal used to enjoy his talk very well. In the future, we are hoping to get such talk organized by Brahma Kumari Spiritual University. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Any student, I mean, I don't hear the voice except one, or even I don't know. Any student, Smriti, you have any student or anybody?
I think I saw some of them, sir. Like I think I saw Naveen. Naveen is in Norway itself, actually. Naveen, are you there? I saw Sriya also. I saw Dipsi.
Naveen. Yes.
Norway itself also.
Please go ahead, Naveen.
हजुर के क्वेशन्स कति भन्नुभयो कि
Yeah, if you have anything or any comment or.
त्यस्तो त छैन सर म नि भर्खर सुन्दैछु त्यस्तो क्वेशन आएको छैन
ठिक छ. So all in all, I think it was always pleasure. And, yes.
Just 1 second. To Raj did the self-healing meditation since he was inviting us to Darjeeling. So I would just like to say that I was educated in Darjeeling, actually. So I feel very proud to be, proud to attend this session, because the session itself is being organized by Raj meditation from Darjeeling. And I'm very much proud of Darjeeling, actually, proud of Darjeeling.
Lovely, lovely to hear that, Smriti ji. Thank you so much. And also, if Fabiano Garcia, brother from Brazil, please don't feel missed out. You're also most welcome to Darjeeling, and also be a part of this Raj Yoga Self-Healing channel. We are always connected on a weekly basis. On weekends sessions, you can attend more sessions. And Professor Bishal Sitaula sir is also going to be on and off onto this channel. We'll have other speakers also coming over. And every Sunday from evening 5 o'clock generally, for Professor sir, we had changed the time to 5:30 p.m. for Indian time. But generally every evening 5 p.m. you have sessions which are also put on live on YouTube. So you can join on this channel and you can attend other sessions also. And this is a non-profit channel of Brahma Kumari's Darjeeling, and we don't charge any money and we're not earning anything out of it. So no greed over here, as Professor said. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the information, brother. Om Shanti. And I'll tell my friends from Brahma Kumari's Brazil that I'm participating in this talk.
Oh, lovely.
I will tell all of them. Thank you so much.
Lovely. Thank you so much.
And Rajan Rai, if you are there, you may. Are you there? You are. Who are your student? Can you? Or anyway, it's always. Fabino, it was so nice. You already look. We are so far away. I think. What is the temperature there in the place where you are in Brazil now?
At this moment, I'm in São Paulo, Brazil, and my family is from Brazil, England, and United States. And at this moment, I'm here in São Paulo. Yes.
So, what is the temperature outside there? The weather.
The weather at this moment, we are starting fall. Today is the beginning of. We are in the beginning of fall here in Brazil. So now temperature is around 20, 21 degrees Celsius.
We have out here a lot of snow, you see, in Norway.
Oh, I see.
And still in the night, you can sometimes see the northern light. So with
Here-
this,
here
I
you-
think, yeah,
Here in this part of Brazil, we don't have snow. But many Brazilians, when they go to Europe or Asia, everybody gets really happy when they see snow for the first time.
so, so with this, I think I thank you, all of you. If I thank you, student, also for joining everybody, and this was a part of your your lecture. And Professor Ajay Bhattrai, I think you are very kind, and Dr. Binod Bhatta is my guru in Nepal. Paramjit Bhai, thank you so much. And Fabio is a new brother here. So we are the part of same family, same big happy family. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Binodji. Thank you so much. And thank you, Ajay Bhattaraiji. Thank you so much for joining in. And thank you so much for helping this message grow out to and reach many people. And let's remove that fear and barrier between all of us. And as we learn in Brahma Kumaris, let's be soul conscious. And as Professor Bishalji said, that let's be metaphysical conscious, that we are beyond this body, beyond traditions, beyond culture, beyond religion, beyond color. And we are all one family under one God consciousness. Thank you so much. It was lovely to have you over here. And we believe that we are always connected, even though you might not be able to reach us onto this platform for your time constraints and maybe your latitude and longitudinal time difference, but we are always interconnected through spirituality as a spirit. Thank you so much for having you over here.
So
Thank you so
all.
much for joining in, Professor Sir.
Thank you very much. Now you may just close your eyes just for a moment. Take long, deep breath in and out. Attend to the present moment. Feel the weight of your body wherever you are sitting. This is your body in the present moment. Now pay attention to your breath, incoming and outgoing breath. Normal breath. This breath is also happening in the present moment. Now, without any effort, just pay attention to a small micro moment between incoming and outgoing breath. Small moment without any effort. If you cannot capture, that's fine. You are love. You are peace. You are truth. You are bliss. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Bhavatu sabba mangalam rakhantu sabba devata sabba buddhanubhavena sada sukti bhavantu te. Bhavatu sabba mangalam rakhantu sabba devata sabba sanghanubhavena sada sukti bhavantu te. Bhavatu sabba mangalam rakhantu sabba devata sabba dhammanubhavena sada sukti bhavantu te. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, praise the Lord, the saint of all religion, all wisdom traditions. All of this existence will bless for the peace, for the right path and prosperity to all nations and all beings. Om Shanti. Thank you very much.